Welcome to Michelle's Island Time Adventures, and I'm here at Sandos Resort in Playacar, which is very close to Playa del Carmen in the Riviera Maya of Mexico, which is the East Coast near the Caribbean. I'm going to give you an honest and critical review of Sandos Resort. If you'd like an honest review of Sandos Resort in Playacar, stick with me and I'll give you the tour. When you arrive at Sandos from the airport, your shuttle will be taking you up this ramp here to the entrance of the main building where you will check in. Once you check in at the reception, it's likely that you'll have a bell person who will take you in one of these carts and ride you down to your room. Most of the rooms are close to the pools or beach, not all, but most. And don't forget to tip your bellhop. And really, don't forget to tip people in general here in Mexico. Even at an all-inclusive resort, the workers here do depend on those tips, as their average daily pay is somewhere between $7.50 and $12.50 per day. So do tip them $1 or $2 every time you interact with one of the employees here at the resort. This is the reception area where you will come in to check in. And normally they come up with a drink. That doesn't always happen. It happened in 2019, but it didn't happen this year in 2022. Over to the left side of the reception is the guest service. Those are actually timeshare people. They will lead you through the resort and restaurant times and all of that, but they will also try to book you for an appointment for a timeshare. I mentioned that Sandos Resort was in Playacar. You might be wondering, what is a Playacar? Playacar is a gated community with several resorts, if not dozens of resorts, plus private homes and businesses. So the nice thing about Playacar is it is a gated community and they have some of the best beachfront property in Riviera Maya. So I've stayed outside of Playacar. Last year I was at an Iberostar resort in Playa Paraiso, which is roughly 25 minutes south of Cancun Airport. And I found the beaches were not quite as nice as Playacar, which is roughly 45 minutes to an hour south of the Cancun International Airport. Let's revisit the Cancun International Airport. A great feature that is very recent, as of August 18th of 2022, is that you no longer, if you are an American, you no longer have to fill out those pesky immigration forms that you used to have to fill out to get into Mexico. Cancun International Airport is one of 5 international airports in Mexico that you don't have to fill out those immigration forms. As an American, you automatically have a visitor's visa that lasts 180 days upon coming into the country. They will simply stamp your passport. Now, one thing I do want to note about Cancun International Airport is that customs will scrutinize you as you're coming into the country to make sure that you're not bringing in contraband. In fact, me being a woman who is traveling alone, going through Cancun's customs, I was pulled aside and they did look through my bags. So while there are no immigration papers to fill out, you might be pulled aside by customs. Bill services will be taking you down this trail right here to get to your resort room. Let's go ahead and take a look at the room. I booked a superior adult room in the adult section at Sandos. So let's go in and take a look. Normally you would use your bracelet to open the door, but my bracelet has been demagnetized. So we're gonna go ahead and go in there and see this adult superior room. In my opinion, it's just a very, very basic room, basic hotel room, if you will. There's absolutely nothing special about this room initially. And in fact, there's a lot of cracks. Like, I don't know if you can see that crack in the floor there. We're gonna walk first into the bathroom area. And as you can see, it's, for me, this is more like a Days Inn or maybe even a Motel 6. This is super basic as a room. Now, the one good thing is that it is clean. I'll give them that, it is clean. But you can see even the mirror has scratches. Look at the sink. I mean, that crack was in the sink at the get-go. There's a hairdryer and there's these weird soap dispensers, but they don't even look
like they have some class to them, I guess, is what I would like to say. The other issue I've had here are towels. So they did give me 4 towels in the beginning. I had 1 hand towel, no washcloths. And right here, they give you these beautiful like lavender scented soaps, but there's no soap dish. So after 4 days of stay here, the maid that came in created this little flower towel to put my soap in. And before that, I was using one of these cocktail glasses to actually put my soap inside. The shower is, again, it's nothing big. There is a seat in the shower, but you can kind of see where it's wearing down. It's not exactly aesthetically pleasing. You can see here, these like fake wood floors. It's okay, but the ceiling has paint that's chipping off. Again, we have another soap dispenser here that doesn't look like it's new, or then we have this coiled shower head that is adjustable to height. But again, it's just very, very basic. It looks like it was done in haste. It doesn't look like there was attention to a lot of detail. Let's go into the closet here, where we do have a safe, which I would highly recommend securing your valuables in a safe while you're in Mexico. And there is a mini fridge here with sodas. You know, everything's included. It is an all-inclusive resort, so of course everything here is included. There's a very old ironing board looking from the 1970s or even 60s with an iron there. And the opposite side of the closet, which I've not been in yet because I didn't really need to hang anything, just has your traditional hangers. You can see the floor is very warm. While it's clean, it's just the room is in need of some TLC. So here is the bed. It is a single mattress with a cement bed frame. So that's one thing you need to pay attention to, because some people I have heard are hurting their shins on this cement frame. And again, the nightstands are made out of brick cement and rather hard, and marble, I guess, which I guess is good for keeping pests away. But it makes everything very hard corners. Now, this at first seemed impressive that they had a water bottle in every room. However, the hot and cold functions do not work. It says room temperature only. And I have a feeling that they are just filling those bottles with purified water rather than some kind of spring water, because it tastes a little bit more like tap water to me. TV, we have some drawers here. Functional drawers. There are 2 chairs and a marble type table, again with a crack in the middle, as you can see that. Again, more cracks in the floors. There is a radio, a telephone, remote control. The one thing that I've noticed too at Mexican resorts is the sparseness of the outlets. So here in this room, I basically have 2 outlets here, and you can use your American appliances and plugs, if you will, in those outlets, but there are only 2, and only on one side of the bed. There are no outlets on the opposite side of the bed. There's a coffee maker with some coffee here, which again, I've not yet used. There's a little couch area here, and I do have an ocean view. I'm not sure if you can actually see that here. You should be able to see it briefly in the camera. I do have an ocean view. However, I do not have a balcony. Many of the other units seem to have a balcony, but I do not have a balcony. And the window does open for some of you that want a window to open. These are non-smoking rooms on this floor. I'm not really sure if any of the rooms are smoking, but I have seen people smoke in the resort. Now, the other weird thing about the towels, this is your traditional beach towel that you see drying here. The issue with the beach towels is that they give you a card at the beginning, and there's only 1 beach towel station at the entire resort. So what you do is you give your card to the person and they give you 1 beach towel per card. If you want 2 beach towels, that isn't possible. They will not, under any circumstances, give you 2 beach towels for 1 card. You might be wondering, if I have more than 1 person in a room, can I have more than 1 towel? Well, they will give you cards corresponding to the number of beach towels. Now, you can trade in your beach towels every single day, but it's kind of annoying because I went to Iberostar last year and I was able to get
2 beach towels every day with 1 card. So that is a bit of an annoying thing at this particular resort. Now, the other thing I want to talk about are rooms in disrepair. As you can see, there is a ceiling fan in the room. When I arrived, the ceiling fan was not working, but through their app or their website, which has kind of an app feature, I was able to have them come in and fix that fan. However, let it be known that I've spoken to some Americans that I've met here, and there are various issues with the actual rooms. So in one room that I spoke to someone about, their toilet doesn't flush and didn't flush and has not flushed the entire time that they've been here. Another issue is the ceiling fan's not working, just like in my room, the ceiling fan didn't work. And for others, it's issues with towels. Again, they seem to be really kind of stingy with the towels or not wanting to replace towels, which is kind of odd. I understand they want to conserve water, but you want to make sure you have enough towels per person in a specific room. They have been coming in to clean every single day, which is great, and I appreciate that. And again, the cleanliness is good inside of the rooms. And finally, the last issue that I've heard is that they had flooding recently, and I'm recording this in 2022. They had flooding recently in the bottom half of their buildings. So the first floors are off limits while they redo the first floors. Now, the unfortunate side of that, if you're visiting Sandos in September of 2022, or maybe even October of 2022, they're redoing all the first floors. So last night, as I was heading off to sleep, I'm on the second floor, it smelled like paint fumes, like big time paint fumes. And so I had to kind of leave the bathroom fan on, open the window a little bit, even though there are no screens on the windows, but I had to get those paint fume smells out of the room. So that is your grand tour of the Sandos Superior Adult Room. Come walk with me as I go to the favorite oceanfront dining place that you can get breakfast from 7 a.m. I believe it's till 11 a.m. and then lunch as well. And this place is less crowded than the buffet, and it has by far the better service of the collective restaurants here at Sandos. This right here, as you'll see, is the adults only pool that is for the elite members only. In other words, those who have the timeshare. I imagine there might be other categories of elite. The Blue Moon, you can get a snack. From what I've seen, it's just something very, very basic. Basic snack foods here from 1 p.m. forward. This is walking to the ocean front view. Actually, this particular restaurant, which you'll see upcoming in the glass building here in the background, is near the family section. So it's near the section that caters to family, children, the oceanfront beach area and pool area that is dedicated for families. We're just heading around to the back area of where the oceanfront dining place is. They have maps throughout the resort as well. It's a very jungly feel, and you'll see a lot of wild creatures going about, as well as some cats. And by the way, they do feed the feral cats. Family pool area. opinion, the buffet should be used for emergencies only. In other words, when you have exhausted your other options. In 2019, when I came to Sandos, the buffet was fine. It actually was quite all right. But now in 2022, I just find that the quality of the food has gone down. The variety has gone down as well as it was a little insect problem at one of the tables that I was seated at in the festival just this last time I was here just a few days ago.
And as of September of 2022, you still do need a mask to go in and use the buffet area.
As of this year, 2022, the hydrotherapy area of the spa is now around $20 or $20 a day to use, unless if you're getting an actual spa treatment, then it is included in the price of your spa treatment. So here is my actual critical review of Sandos Resort in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, which is Riviera Maya. Here are two things. The first thing is I paid about $1,088 for 5 nights in September of 2022. Now, if you average that out, it's about $200 and some change for a room, all inclusive, meaning you have food 24/7. And if you drink alcoholic beverages, which I do not, but you have alcohol 24/7, as well as sodas and juices. So to that end, if you really feel like $200 a night is a really good deal for one person. Now, of course, if there are several people in your party, I'm sure the charges are slightly higher, but of course, the buy-in price, so to speak, is always one person is the most expensive, and then you add on from there. So I feel that if you're really looking for a good deal, then Sandos Resort in Playacar is a really good deal, especially in off-season. Now, you might be wondering if September is a good month to travel to Playacar or Playa del Carmen. The answer is, I have lucked out. It has not rained a drop of rain since I have been here. I've been to Mexico in June and July and August, and throughout all of those months, there has been rainfall, at least in the afternoons. But this week, for some odd reason, there has been no rain. So I have totally lucked out. It's been sunny every day, some cloud cover, but mostly sunny every day. So it's actually quite a nice time to travel if there are not hurricanes. So that is the first thing. The second thing is, if you're interested in amenities, but like first class amenities, then this resort is probably not for you. They have some good amenities. For example, I visited the spa and I had an ultimate spa treatment where I had a massage, a facial, and a body scrub. And that ran me around $150 plus tip, but the treatment was phenomenal. And the spa itself is really top notch and high class. But I would say throughout the entire resort, the spa is really the only place that is top notch, and I would say 5-star. The other parts of the resort, I would give it between a 2.5 and 3-star by American standards. Now, of course, if you're traveling from throughout the world, your standards for what is middle class, what is low class, which is high class, might not be the exact same. But my comparison is usually traveling in Disney resorts, which to me, those are either 4 or 5 star. So they tend to be a lot nicer. The amenities are greater. The customer service is second to none. And so I have that as my barometer. I have that as weighing out the differences between a resort like Sandos and a resort like a Disney resort, or perhaps even the Four Seasons or the Intercontinental, which tend to be a much higher star level. Now, if I were to compare Sandos Resort to, for example, Iberostar that I traveled to last year, and I did it kind of like, we were still kind of in pandemic mode last year, but I found the Iberostar to be slightly higher. I would say the Iberostar in Playa Paraiso that I visited, I believe it was called the Maya, that was probably between a 3.5 to 4 star resort. Whereas Sandos, I would give it between 2.5 and 3 stars. Now, the one bothersome thing, now this could be bothersome for some, it could be a blessing for others. The other bothersome thing for me personally was that Wi-Fi is very spotty throughout the resort. And in my room personally, I did not have much Wi-Fi luck. On my computer, it kind of faded in and faded out on Wi-Fi, but definitely on my phone, I could barely, if anything, get Wi-Fi on my phone inside my room. Now, this created some panic for me because the first day, I had not turned off data roaming. Check with your plan carrier, especially if you plan on visiting Sandos Playacar, because it depends on what your plan carrier says about data plans for Mexico. Now, after a frantic call to AT&T, having my mom call for me and get me on that call, I discovered that my unlimited plan with AT&T does actually include data, text, and calling in Mexico and Canada. However, not all plans do this, so please do check with your carrier before you start using data roaming. So if you absolutely positively need to be on Wi-Fi during your vacation, don't choose Sandos because the Wi-Fi here was really unreliable. When I was at Iberostar last year, I do not remember Wi-Fi being remotely a problem. I think I was on Wi-Fi 24/7. I was actually connected through my laptop, connected through my phone, connected throughout the resort, and it was actually never a problem. Here at Sandos, it's quite a different story. Now, I noticed if I wake up early in the morning and I get to a cafe, like really early in the morning, I can get the Wi-Fi on my phone early morning, but I just don't think that they have the bandwidth to fit a lot of people on their Wi-Fi. And I found that my phone was constantly being bumped off of the Wi-Fi. So if that is important to you, don't stay at Sandos, or make sure that your carrier has unlimited data. Now, that being said, even with my unlimited data, there were times at which I could not pick up a signal, even for my phone, even on data roaming. It depends on what kind of vacation that you truly do want. If you want to be working on your vacation, or you wanted to be in touch with family and friends on vacation, then Sandos is probably not the place for you. And I've already mentioned the issue with the towels. The towels are it's really a strange thing. They very much keep track of their towels. Maybe they had problems with theft before, but as I mentioned before, that for the beach towels, which are used for beach and pool, they only allow 1 towel per customer. Now, that can be an issue when towels get wet or you're at the beach and you don't want to walk all the way back to the 1 towel stand that they have in the resort to exchange your towel. For me personally, when I'm at the pool or beach, I like to have 2 towels. I want to have 1 towel to lay out on my chair so that I'm not touching the chair at all times, and then I'd like that second towel to be able to dry off. That's not even a remote possibility here at Sandos, as they're very strict about their towels. Thirdly, I had an issue at the buffet, the festival, which you saw in the video. I had an issue with their buffet where I was seated one time on the left side. If you're facing the hostess stand, I was seated at the left side, closest to the wall, where they had a lot of 2 top tables. Of course, I'm only 1 person, so it would stand to reason that they would seat me at a 2 top table. But for dinner one night, probably about 3 nights ago, there were little bugs. I mean, not so little actually. They were somewhere between a medium-sized spider and a carpenter ant that were milling about underneath my table. When I brought it to the attention of the waitress, she kind of laughed, moved me to an adjacent table only 5 feet away, when within minutes, these little bugs crawled their way over to that table as well. And when I brought it to her attention again, she just laughed and kind of stomped some of the bugs, but didn't take care of the problem. So then I took my plate and I moved it to completely a different side of the buffet, but that turned me off to the buffet completely, being that the wait staff was not serious about a bug problem inside of the buffet. If that were another resort or in the United States, immediately the management would be alerted to that problem and that area would be quarantined off so that customers would not go into the area with a bug infestation. So that kind of turned me off to Sandos as well. The other thing that kind of turned me off is the disrepair of a lot of locations, the disrepair that was in certain rooms. Again, talking to other guests that were at this resort, just the disrepair. So an American family I met, they said that they were put on the 4th floor, but that the elevator was not working in their building. So they had to climb up 4 flights of stairs, and there was one elderly couple that was included in that group. Second thing about ceiling fans not working, toilets not working. So a lot of disrepair to these buildings. And again, I've noticed that the quality of these buildings has gone down since 2019 when I first visited Sandos in Playacar. The fourth thing I want to mention are the restaurants. Now, if you've never been to an all-inclusive resort, or if you have been to an all-inclusive resort, you will know that typically in all-inclusive resorts, you have several restaurants to choose from. You might have 1 or 2 buffets on the premises, just depending on how large that all-inclusive resort is. You will have isolated little restaurants like cafes and quick services, but you will also have fancier sit-down restaurants. The first year that I came to Sandos in 2019, I attended mostly the Italian sit-down restaurant, which was actually quite good at the time. This year, I decided not to go to any of the sit-down restaurants, being that I'm all by myself, but I did speak to people who frequented most of the sit-down restaurants. Now, here are the reviews that I got back. The Mexican restaurant called Calimex is not good at all. The feedback I received was that the food is flavorless, that the dishes were subpar, and that it certainly was no better than the buffet. The second restaurant was Gaucho, which is the steakhouse, and that too I heard was not good food. The steak wasn't good, the side dishes were not any good, and they had no flavor whatsoever. The third one that my American friends reviewed was the Brazilian Steakhouse. Now, the gentleman that was in that group of the Brazilian Steakhouse said he actually enjoyed the Brazilian Steakhouse. There are 2 other restaurants, the Italian restaurant and the French restaurant. Now, if you look on websites, the French restaurant actually gets the greatest reviews of those sit-down restaurants inside of Sandos Playacar. But I would say if food is really important to you, my opinion is don't stay at Sandos Playacar because the food has definitely gone down in quality by far. In 2019, I found the food was quite good. Even the buffets were very decent. And this year in 2022, I found that all of the food quality has gone downhill. Now that I've talked about the critical aspects of Sandos Playacar, let's go ahead and talk about the great aspects. It has got a beautiful beachfront property with crystal clear waters. They are very attentive with the seaweed issue that the Caribbean does tend to have. And so they are constantly upkeeping the beachfront. It's got soft sand. You don't have a lot of seashells or rocks. And it is very close to the water. So you don't have to walk that far to get to the water. Now, once you are in the water, you can go out quite far before it gets deep, and it's very beautiful and really relaxing. Sandos has some roped off areas for their elite guests, for their adult member guests, as well as for the families. In those roped off areas, you will have chairs and you will have some umbrella type coverings as well as tables. Now, that will not keep independent vendors from coming into those roped areas where you are sitting. So just beware of those vendors that are going to come in try to sell their wares, as well as trying to sell you tours or jet skis or fishing tours, things like that. The other thing I found was that the entertainment staff was quite nice at having different activities poolside, especially in the adults area of the pool. Now, the staff I found was not quite as friendly as in 2019. And my American friends noted in September of 2022 that the staff just seemed to have this general ennui about them, or they kind of have this more serious air, not really joyful, cheerful, or happy, but they just kind of had this overall sense of just not wanting to be there. And of course, if you're on vacation, you're paying money to be on vacation. It's really helpful to have a staff of that location, the resort, the hotel, to have a very cheerful and welcoming attitude. So that was one other thing that was a little bit bizarre this year at Sandos Playacar. And finally, I cannot say enough about the spa. The people at the spa were welcoming, open, friendly. The spa's amenities are really amazing. I loved the steam room with the eucalyptus aromatherapy. The spa itself has this delicious smelling aromatherapy that goes all throughout. The spa rooms are actually quite nice, and when you are receiving a lot of different spa treatments, they actually have a shower inside of your spa room so that, for example, in my case, I was receiving the body scrub and the therapist left the room so I could take a shower and wash off the body scrub. And then my therapist came back into the room to finish the therapies. So it was actually really relaxing, super nice. And I would say if any part of Sandos Resort Playacar is 5-star, it is the spa. Lastly, my favorite, I want to talk about the gym because I'm a person who likes to go to the gym. The gym definitely is big, expansive. They have a lot of amenities in the gym, but compared to 2019, again, it has fallen in some disrepair. If I were to say that you're a person that needs to be working out at the gym while you are on vacation, then, it might be functional, but not top notch as to what you might be expecting. And lastly, if you are planning a trip to Riviera Maya, Mexico, you might be wondering what the ideal time span of your stay might be. I would say that you can get everything done that you would love to get done between 5 and 7 nights. And that might include a couple of excursions that you might want to go on. And if you have the option of booking your excursions inside of Sandos Resort Playacar versus booking those excursions online, I would look for competitive prices online if you can, because there are a lot of tour companies that actually do leave from Playacar, which again is that gated community, and it just might be a short walk to get to somewhere else where you could take a tour that's going to cost you a lot less money. So I hope you enjoyed my review, my critical and honest review of Sandos Resort in Playacar, Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And thank you so much for joining me. Do subscribe below for other videos. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys on my next adventure.